Good day, everyone. I'm going to use this time to review how to convert an Excel spreadsheet into an Access database and how to create reports and queries. The first thing we're going to need to do is to open up an Access document. So I'm going to click on Start, Access, and I want to create a new blank database, and I'm going to call this the review conversion database. Okay, review conversion database. Now I have to save it where I know it's going to go. So I'm going to click on the small file folder, the browse file folder, and I want this file to go into a place that I have. It's called the Access assignment. And so I'm going to save it into that file folder. Now you can save it wherever you want, but it's essential that you remember where you saved it. Alright, I'm now ready to create that database. So I click Create. And here is my database. Now the first thing I'm going to need is an Excel document to put into a database. So I'm going to do this. All I have to do is to go to the before I go any further, I want to mention to you, make sure this button here says All Access Objects. I'll click on the down arrow. Now it's checked off to show at the bottom All Access Objects. It's essential that you do that, otherwise you'll be creating things and you won't be able to find them. So make sure that that when you click on that All Access Objects button, make sure that All Access Objects is checked off, and object type as well. Okay, so there we go. Now so let's begin. Let's go to import the Excel spreadsheet. Click on the External Data button, tab, and then come over where it says Import and Link, and click on the button that says Excel converted into Access. So click on the Excel button. Now when it comes up, you need to find the actual Excel document. So click on the Browse button and go to where your Excel document is stored. Now in mine, I've stored mine in this Excel Access assignment file folder, and here it is. This is my Excel document that I want to convert into a database. So you'll simply go to wherever it was that you've saved your document that is an Excel document. Let's come down and click the Open button. And now we can begin the process. The first button is already checked. We'll leave that alone. And now we'll click the OK button. And now it says how many sheets. Well, there's only one sheet to import, so we'll click the button that's OK. So we'll click Next. Then this is essential. You must have this checked off where it says first row contains headings. See, this is my first row right here, lot number, year, make, model. Those are headings. That's the first row, and it contains headings. Make sure you have that checked off. And let's click on the button that says Next now. Now this one here, we can just skip this. Just don't worry about that. Just click the button that says Next, because everything's okay there. Now it says, what is the Access primary key? Well, the system wants to assign this ID number as the primary key, but I don't want that to be the primary key. I want to choose my own primary key. Now I'm going to click Choose My Own Primary Key. Now you should remember that a primary key is the one field in the database that is always unique. No other field can contain that same data. For example, the make field. I have several Fords, several Chevrolets. The models can be the same. Styles can be the same. But the one field in the database that is absolutely unique is the lot number. So I'm going to choose the lot number as that primary field. So let's click the Next button, and I need to name this table that I'm creating, and I'll call this is a used car lot that we're dealing with, so I'm going to call it all car inventory. Alright, and now we click the finish button, and we do not need to save the import step, so just click close, and bingo, there you are. Here's the all car inventory. That's all there is to converting it. Okay, now let's learn how to, or actually this is a review for you people. Let's learn how again to create a report. Now, this is not a printable report that's of any help to anyone. I want to create my own special report. So in order to create reports, I need to click on the Create button. Now, I'm going to go over to Report Wizard. Click on the Report Wizard. Click on that. Now, it wants to know what table you're using. Well, we're using the all car inventory table, and it's already highlighted, so we'll select that. Now, I don't want all the information. I only want some. I want to click on the year. I want to know what year the cars are, what make, what model, what style, and the mileage. Those are the only things I want in my report. So I'm going to click the button that says Next, and it says, do you want to add any grouping? No, we don't. We'll click Next, and it says you can sort the records. I'm going to put them in numerical. I'm going to put them in ascending order by year. So I'll click year. So it'll come in order of how old the cars are. Click the button that says Next. And we're going to accept this tabular form. That's okay. And since it's not a wide report, we're going to use portrait. If it's going to be a really wide report, I'd want to use a landscape. But this is a narrow report, so I'll click portrait, and I'll click next. And it says what you want to call your report. And I'm going to call this the car inventory report. Now, it's important that you name it properly, okay? This is the car inventory report. All right, so, and let's click the button now that says Finish. And here is our report. Now, if you look at it, you'll notice that the right-hand column is too narrow, so the data isn't showing up. So what we're going to have to do is adjust this information so it fits. So we need to go down to where it says, you have to look at this tiny button down here, and it says Layout View. Click on the tiny button, lower right-hand corner, that says Layout View. I'm going to roll my mouse over it again, and it pops up Layout View. Click Layout View. Now, in this way, I can now change the width of columns. For example, let's click on the one that says ledge. It's actually mileage, but it isn't wide enough. So I'm going to move my cursor to the edge of it and widen it enough so mileage appears. But I'm going to then go and click on where the mileage is. Notice it highlights the mileage stuff all the way down, and I'm going to move my cursor. It's a four-way arrow. When it becomes a two-way arrow, whoops, you got to be careful, two-way arrow, I'm going to drag that over to here. All right, now I can also drag the edge of it into, double arrow, click and move it over a little bit. There we go. And now I'll click back on mileage, and I'm going to go to the right-hand edge, click and just drag it over so that it shows up. And so that's how you can manipulate the reports. I don't like the look of this report because the year and make run right together. So I'm going to click on the title of make, and I'm going to use the move the cursor to the left edge. When it becomes a double arrow, I'll move it over here, and there we go. That's better. Now I'll click on the whole row of the makes, and I'm going to use, so when this becomes a two-way left and right arrow, oh, there it is, right click and drag it over and clean it up a bit. Okay. If you want to you can center this data. For example, since this row is all highlighted, I'm going to go back to Home, and I'm going to go to the Center button, and now the data is centered. If I do that, I'll have to center the name as well. they're like that, and so forth. In fact, I can do that with all of them. It only takes a second. I want your reports to look nice, and you just click on the name and click center, and the data in center. Oops, that one didn't work when I did that. Let's see. Let's put that back to the left, and I'm just going to go back to the title here. And sometimes you have to play around with these things. They can be a real pain at times. There we go. And I'm going to move this back over a little bit more. Okay, there we are. So you might have to play with it a bit, but that's how you create a report. Now we're done with the report, so I'm going to close this over here. And I'm going to close the report, upper right hand corner, close the inventory report, and save changes. Oh yes, I'll save changes to the report. Okay, now we're back. Now I suppose I want you to assume now that a customer just called, and you don't want to lose a customer. You want to get the information to them as quick as you can. So let's do this. The customer says, "Gee, I'm looking for a car that's newer than 2000, and it's got to be newer than 2005, and it's got to have less than 45,000 miles on it, and it's got to be a two-door car. Can you tell me? Do you have anything that fits those qualifications?" And you say, "Oh, excuse me, I'll be with you in 1 second." And what you will do is you will click on the Create button. First of all, you have to have your inventory open, all car inventory open, and then you're going to go up to the Create button, and you're going to create a query in Design View. So you click on the button that says Query Design View. Click on that. Now it brings up this box. It asks you what table do you want to query, and it's the all car inventory table. So we'll click down here and click Add that. We're now done with this Show Table box, so close that out. And I'm going to click and drag this down a little bit so I can see the data. Now what do I want in my query search? I want to search, I want to know what year it is, so I double click. I want to know the make, double click. I want to know the model, double click. And I want to know the style, double click, and I want to know the mileage. Okay, now we have now added the parameters that we want to search for. Now I need to check, and in where it says criteria, under year, what year is the car? I click on the criteria button. Now the car has to be newer than 2005. So go down to my keyboard and I'll put shift and is a capital period. That's the greater than symbol. The car has to be greater than a 2005. So that means it will show only cars that are newer than 2005. Now they didn't say, they don't care what make it is. The model though, they said that the model has to, no, they didn't say the model. Let's see. Oh, I know what it was. It's the style. I'm sorry, I got to add the style. I forgot the style. Okay, and the style. The customer said, oh, it's got to be a two-door. So in the style column on the criteria line under style, we'll have to say that the style must equal 2-door. Now, we now go to the next parameter, and the next parameter was under mileage. The mileage must be less than 35,000. So click on the criteria line under mileage, right here under mileage, and I'll put less than 35,000 miles. So all I did was add to the query the information I was looking for. I wanted to know what year it was, make, model, style, mileage, and oops, I guess I had style over here before. Sorry, that's okay. Anyway, I have what the style I'm searching for. Now, in order to run the query, you come up to the upper left-hand corner, and where it says Run, click the Run button, the red exclamation point, and there we are. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars that fit the query that the customer asked. And so we could tell them what we have. Now, I want you to turn this query into a report. So first thing we've got to do is, while it's still highlighted here, we're going to go to Create, and we're going to click on the report button. In this case, though, I want to review how you use the report wizard. So let's click on report wizard, and it says you must save your query first. You want to save it? Click yes. Okay, so we want to save it. Now, what do you want to name this query? And I'll call it Mr. Smith's. Mr. Smith is the person to call. Mr. Smith's request. Okay, then I'll click OK. Okay, I didn't use the right rules. Okay, you can't have periods or, I guess, okay, I'm just going to have to redo that. And I'll call it Mr. Smith request. Okay, you got to have it the right format. Okay, click OK, and there we go. Now, in this report, I want all of these. I want the year, the make, the model, and I don't want whatever that XP103 is. I do want the mileage, and I do want the style. So all I do is click on the button and move over to the right-hand side, only the fields I want in my report. So I click the button that says Next, and when it comes up, do you want to add any groupings? We don't, so click Next. It says, do you want them in any kind of order? Well, let's put them in order by year. Click Next. And then it says, do you want it to be the style report? Yeah, that's fine. Do you want a portrait or landscape? Well, this is a small report, so we'll just leave it in portrait and click Next. And we're all done, so we click the Finish button. And there's your report. If you needed to, you can adjust the titles. Now, we're going to have to do that on this, as you can see, because the year and make are run together, and mileage and style are run together. So we just go down to this lower right-hand corner and click Layout View. Click Layout View. And now I can click on the make, and I'm going to come over till that's a two-way arrow, move it over a bit. Okay, click on the list of cars, and when it becomes a two-way arrow, drag it over a bit so that looks better. I'm going to click on mileage. I'm going to widen that column so mileage shows up, and then I'm going to click on the miles here and move those over to the left. And in this case, I'm going to have to click on mileage, and I'm going to have to go back to the Home tab, and I'll click Center that. And I'll click on this row, and I'll click Center that, just to move it over a bit. And there, now my report looks just the way I want it. So I will click the Close button, and I'm all done. Well, I'd print it if I wanted to. I'll click the Close button on this now. But, Emma, do I want to save them? Yes. There we are. So now you can see in our database, we have the complete car inventory in a table. We have the query of what Mr. Smith asked us to search for, and we can change it later if we wanted to. And in the report area, we have the complete car inventory report. That goes on a couple of pages, I think. And then we have Mr. Smith's printed report for him. And that is how you do reports and queries and import an Excel document into a Access database. Thank you very much. Good luck on that.